As the usage of AI coding assistance is growing, the way we design our software will change. We'll need to structure our code in ways that allow us to deal with the limited context windows of coding assistants, and at the same time, I believe this constraint will push our products towards results that we couldn't have imagined 5-10 years ago. Welcome back to Think Design Work Smart. I'm Alex Bolboaca, and I'm coming at you from the Mozaic Works studios. And my favorite Batman comic is The Long Halloween, but I guess we're discussing about something else right now. Oh, right, it was about AI coding assistants. So here are a few things that I think might change, or a few different ways we might structure our code when using AI assistants. One of the challenges that I see is that coding assistants have a hard time understanding larger code bases, particularly the code bases that have a lot of complexity in them. Now, we have the same problem with people, but the way we deal with that is by having multiple people joining together and having different views and kind of putting those views together. However, there may be different ways of dealing with that, and I'm going to offer you two ways in this video. The first one is feature-based organization, and when I say feature, it might mean much smaller slice than you think. Let me give you a very simple example. If you're doing a web application, a very simple way to slice your application is based on the root. Each root could have its own completely separate module. So if you have something like /user/add or post to /users, that root gets its own dedicated implementation in a separate file or in a separate few files if you want. And you do the same for all the different roots. This is a very clean separation because it's extremely separate, extremely modular. You can plug and play. You can basically pull that out, replace it with something else. You can rewrite that without affecting anything else that's around your code. Now, what was the problem until now? This can lead to duplication, right? You can have code duplication between these things, and if you find a bug in one of these modules, and then you realize that you need to fix the bug in 200 other modules. But it is no longer a problem with AI. First of all, the smaller the problem and the better defined it is, the better the results of your code generation with coding assistants will get. Second, test coverage, much easier to do. It's a lot better to have this small unit, test it, review the tests, review the code, make sure it works. Then let's say you find a bug. You can either fix the bug or you can just regenerate the code based on the requirements that hopefully you saved. So when the code management itself is no longer such a big problem, then this kind of split may make a lot more sense than the splits that we used to do based on domain, based on modules that we are trying to define. Now, is this free? No, it's not. If by any chance you cannot use AI assistants anymore, then you have a mess. It's very hard to manage this with only people, so you get dependent on the assistants. The other thing that is important to understand is that the cost of maintaining this code base might grow, as it's likely that the cost for usage of AI assistants might grow. So if the cost of AI assistants grows and you are stuck into recreating this code, then yes, you end up in a place that's not that great. On the other hand, maybe having small units that do one thing and do it well could work well for your application. And it's easier to manage, and you get fewer bugs because it's less code. Who knows? We won't know until we try it out. I actually did a few experiments with this. I have one application that I started writing in this style, and I'll be happy to do a brief demo if you are interested, but let me know in the comments. And I did that before AI assistance, by the way. It was just a fun exercise. Second one. The second thing is, what if we think about products in a completely different way? So until now, what we've done is we picked a domain, and let's say the business domain. I'll just give you an example. Business applications, so applications used for managing business. And we'll just talk about administration, accountancy, this kind of stuff. There a lot more depending on the business, but let's say about this. So normally what you do is you say, let's solve the accounting problem. We have this accounting problem. People need to create invoices, to send invoices, to make sure to feed them with payments and so on. We take this problem, we create a product for it. Maybe it's a SaaS, let's say it's a software as a service. We provide it to our customers, they start using it, fine. Right? This is how we did things until now. What I'm here to say is that there may be another way that is empowered by the usage of coding assistants. What if instead of doing that, we do an operating system for business? And by operating system, I mean you have some fundamentals, and then you build on those fundamentals with very small tools that know how to do one thing, do it well, and they know how to talk to each other. So how to combine multiple tools into complex workflows. That's how Linux works, or how the Unix philosophy. You have small tools that do one thing, they do it well, and they communicate through text interfaces. And then, instead of giving a very specific answer, a very specific solution to a very specific problem, what you are doing is you are giving an operating system to a business and say, these are the tools that you can use. And you have AI assistants now, so you can figure out how to combine those tools into the things that you need. And you get an operating system for your business. And these are two ways in which I think we can change the way we structure our code if we are using AI code assistant. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, favorite Batman comics, let me know in the comments. It's always great to hear from you. Thank you kindly for the view, and until next time, remember to think, design, and work smart. See you next Saturday.